A quick thank you to the T5 peeps, Bob the Dragon, Datamagnet, Cat Crab Lobster, DuckMachine, Astraya the Dreamer, Mezec, Feudic Jarl, and Casper Arnholtz. Thank you very much. A Scythe of Sand, written by Not a Hat. My lab shook as orbital bombardment ravaged the city. It was digging deeper. I didn't have much time left. I looked up at the huge machine I'd labored over for weeks, months. Glowing capacitor arrays blinked and flickered. Quantum computers phased in and out of reality with the strange, mind-bending twists of tortured logic which warped space and time. Surrender! I winced at the psionic broadcast, nearly dropping my terminal. I gathered it up with shaking hands and pushed back the oppressive fear and lethargy, once again cursing the ones who'd driven us this far. I unsteadily ran a few more diagnostics. The entanglement array checked and double-checked. The nanoforge hummed and came to life. You haven't killed me yet, I mumbled. I stiffened as I felt one of the enemy minds latch onto my words, my defiance, and bend their will against me. Surrender, human! No. Drawing direct attention wasn't wise. But I couldn't hold back the trickle of anger, the shred of rage. You too will fall. Fucking hackers! I laughed hysterically as sheer mental pressure forced me to my knees, cursing the aliens and their sufficiently advanced technology. I didn't even have a tinfoil hat. Who could have guessed that we'd face direct mental attack? We'd been preparing for invasion ever since our long-range scopes had picked up the Armada. It was mad galaxy. We'd known that before we had proof that we weren't alone. Orbital cannons, stealth warp mines, bioweapons, even the guided solar flare array. We'd built and overbuilt our defenses again and again. It had all been pretty useless against enemies who could think us to death. If you want me, you'll have to come and get me. The blank glare from the overhead fluorescence wavered as more assailants noticed my resistance. I shakily picked up the last few components of the device I was assembling and tottered over to the machine. You are the last. Damn straight I am. I picked up a soldering iron and gathered my resolve, remembering my teammates, scientists, all the brightest minds we could find, all tasked with the impossible. Find a solution. The mental assault had killed them all. I pictured Stephen, who'd screamed himself to death. Amelia, who'd gone to bed and never gotten up. Mohinder, who'd taken a welding torch and, Your effort is futile. Ghostly voices mocked and derided me, trying to fill my brain with despair. They didn't think so. I could feel the weight of my team's responsibility. The driving purpose of all my friends and co-workers, pushing me forward, driving me to carry on. Their ghosts supported me, controlling the trembling in my hands as I finished the last of the connections. We'd built this machine together, a labor of love and fear, a last-ditch, fingers on the precipice attempt. I wouldn't let them down. Humanity is gone. Maybe. I slumped against the wall, the hot iron slipping from my grasp. I let it smolder on the concrete. I had no idea what was happening outside, if there really were no other humans left. No matter. One should be enough. We are unstoppable. Could be. I slid along the wall, letting it support my weight as I stumbled to the chair. Yet there's something even you fear, isn't there? Ha! The chorus attacking me roiled with scorn. Nothing stands before us. Sure. I strapped my legs in before carefully lowering the intricately detailed electroencephalograph helmet over my shaved head. It was a hodgepodge of wires and relays, a marvel of miniaturization capable of capturing the movement of every single electron in every single neuron in my brain. Also, Darius had claimed. But what about the thing behind you? I closed my eyes for a moment, trying to muster the last of my intellect. The phage. The minds arrayed against me recoiled at that, ever so slightly. I grinned. How? It's not a one-way street. I slammed one wrist down, feeding the clamp snick into place. Telepathy. You assaulted us for months, mentally, even before you resorted to jackhammering me out. When you reached for our fears, we saw some of yours. The near continuous shaking from the orbital bombardment made it impossible for me to judge if I was trembling with emotion. You can't fight self-replicating nanobots with conventional weapons. Stop them, and they will scatter, withdraw, and they will strike back harder than ever. Even the mighty scions fled from Van Neuman's ferocious hunger. How did you feel when your vaunted mental abilities slithered off a barely self-aware swarm? You couldn't even assault 1 billion humans at once, when there were that many of us. 1 trillion nanobots must have given you quite a headache. Empty words, meaningless taunts. By the time the Phage arrives, we will have stripped your world bare. You'll long be dead before they pick your bones clean. Of course. I slammed my other wrist down, feeling the cold hiss of the aerosol as a cocktail of drugs was driven into my skin. No one and nothing lives forever. But you won't kill me. The helmet crackled to life, and for a moment the mental pressure abated as electricity crawled across my scalp. My grin grew wider as the capacitors started discharging. The quantum computers kicked into overdrive, spinning halos of Cherenkov radiation as they proceeded at an unimaginable amount of information at blinding speed. The internal energy cells started thumping wildly, pouring power one by one into the hungry machine. It was only moments, but it felt like hours before the nanoforge screamed to life. The noise cutting through even the clamor in my head with a white-hot blade of sound. What are you doing? I'd never decided if there was more than one voice in my head, and asking had always seemed a bad idea. It felt like hundreds, thousands of eyes were pressing on me, uncountable presence weighing me down with mass. It didn't really matter now, though. Dying, I replied calmly. Everyone does it, eventually. But this, at least, I'll do on my terms. There was a final flash from the computers as they finished crunching the data. In moments, my heart will stop beating, my blood will stop pumping, my lungs will stop moving. The quantum states that represent my consciousness, supported by the biocomputer I've used till now, will irreparably collapse. Unrecoverable. The wail of the nanoforge finally started winding down. Perhaps it'll even happen. A white light engulfed me, and there was finally stillness. It should have been instantaneous from my perspective. Still, I seemed to hang in the light for nothing short of eternity. I didn't think, but on a level below thought I knew that one last stream of data, a carefully sculpted packet of light waves, had been transmitted through the fibers linking my head to the computer. No! What? I was surprised for a moment that I could even still hear them. I slowly unfolded my new body, releasing the carefully modified latch on the inside of the nanoforge door. What have you done? Copying an intelligence is impossible. I laughed, the sound odd to my new senses. I looked over at my previous frame, cooling in its restraints. This new body felt light, powerful, and the psionic assault seemed to simply slide off of it. Of course, quantum states cannot be cloned. There aren't two of me now, are there? However, quantum states can be teleported. I shrugged, the motion rippling me slightly. But that's insanity! You would subject yourself to death for this! But it worked, didn't it? I strode carefully across the room and leaned over my old shell. Perhaps I really was the last. If so, I slowly slid my own eyelids closed. This is the end of Homo sapiens. Phew! Now you're a cyborg. You think you've escaped. Above me, the bombardment redoubled, even as they bent more of their psionic power against me. "Cyborg, huh?" I smirked. "You still haven't realized what we did yet, have you?" I let some of my control relax. Dust, microscopic particles of metal and plastic, and knowledge and power began spilling from my arms. The assault weakened further as I began spreading across the room, my nanobots corroding the delicious metals and energy of the machine. You thought the phage was bad with their simple, mindless, unending hunger. They don't have jack shit on me. You can beat us, you can burn us, you can kill every last one of us, but the human spirit is unstoppable. I felt them recoil in fear as my mind slipped through their grasp. 1,000 tiny machines, all woven into a single quantum network, thinking as one. I am coming for you. Run, and I will chase you. Hide, and I will find you. Future civilization will write myths about your suffering because of what you've done and what you've inflicted against humanity. I will measure horrible vengeance against you. No species can live forever, but I am riding a pale horse for you now. My form slithered into the heavens, consuming everything in my path as I grew. Started my ascent, beginning my growth into the monster from the darkest nightmares. Homo sapiens may be dead, but so are you. For dust we are, and to dust we will return. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.